we just have a good rhythm together, you know. He sort of feels me out, I feel him out, and we go for it.
Hello and welcome to the worst idea of all time, Season 4, Episode 10. Tim Bat is me.
And I'm Guy Montgomery, and it's a beautiful autumn or fall evening here in Brooklyn, New York City, 5:44 p.m. Pleasure to be on the line with you, Tim.
I'm drinking out of a Pay the Boys cup. We've a little sneak behind the curtain, guys. We're using a brand new thing to record today, so hopefully it doesn't sound like fucking ear pus.
I can only imagine the percentage of listeners who are as excited as you are by the new technology we're using and the minor but still noticeable fluctuations in audio quality that are pouring out into ears across the nation, the hemisphere, the globe, the universe.
Ears across America. Universe. That will be our new project. We're going to revisit the what was that thing called? Was that Hands Across America? That big project where everyone linked arms?
I think you're thinking of Wild Hogs, the movie where four fellas get on some hogs and just drive them across America.
I mean, it couldn't be more different at all, really.
I think you're misremembering. You know, Wild Hogs.
Yeah.
Remember the stars of Wild Hogs? Can you tell me?
John Travolta, Tim Allen.
Yeah.
There's a wild card in there. Is it William H. Macy?
Correct.
Yes. And there's, I think, a fourth guy on a bike, isn't there? Or is it those three?
No, there's one more.
Oh. Nah, I don't know.
Martin Lawrence.
A real 4 tentpole appeal at the cinema, at the Cineplex.
Did you see it?
I did not. I've never seen that. I'm sorry for sniffing as well. It's a disgusting thing to do on a microphone. I've had a touch of laryngitis.
Well, do you know what's not disgusting? It's telling everyone that you've had a touch of laryngitis. It's actually quite becoming on you. I literally cannot even tell where the line of sarcasm is with you anymore, Guy. I don't know if we're spending too much time together or not enough, but the line is blurry. I've never thought of it like this before, but someone must have made a joke. It's quite becoming on you, or I becoming on. Do you know what's quite becoming?
I becoming on you?
Me, and then I come on you.
Yeah, it's a good gag.
Yeah,
it's very funny stuff.
Someone tidy that up for me, please.
Yeah, if we could get that into the writer's room, that would be wonderful. And then when it comes time to do the actual episode of the podcast, that's going to be a real humdinger of a line. Hey, guess what?
What?
I interrupted your Wild Hogs bit. Have you seen it?
No, I haven't seen Wild Hogs.
Great, then we'll move forward. I got to watch the movie with a human being by my side.
Oh my God. Well, can I tell you, I actually had that revealed to me via email with said human being.
What? Why?
What? A man can't email another man's wife anymore, Tim? This is PC gone mad. This is what really shits me about PC culture. I can't send tasteful images to Zoe anymore because she's your betrothed. Well, guess what? That's bullshit. If I want to send semi-nudes to people who are married, who are engaged, who are in any other sort of relationship, I'm going to do it. They're good photos. People need to see them.
You've genuinely caught me on the hop here, Montgomery. I'm not sure what dastardly plan you've been cooking up communicating with my wife in the last 12 hours, but I respect it, and I respect both of you, and most importantly, I respect privacy, so I shan't investigate that at all.
I respect that, and if you could please not bring it up with Zoe, that would mean a lot. I've been sworn to secrecy.
Jesus, very good. So anyway, I got to watch the movie with Zoe, which Guy knows. See, ordinarily you get to act as audience surrogate because you don't have information. Yeah, so revealing it to you, you get to react in a way that the listeners would feel, you know?
I'm sick and tired of being pegged as the one who doesn't have information.
I just don't understand how you had this information.
I told you, Zoe and I are in a regular and ongoing email correspondence, which features but is not limited to semi-explicit images of me. Yes.
Yeah, I was going to say, it feels like a one-way thing, that transfer of images. I'm going to mute the microphone while I blow my nose, but know what I'm doing, Guy.
I do. I know exactly what you're doing. We also exchange some of the amateur poetry we've both been working on, but I guess you don't show curiosity in that because that's the feeling I get from reading the emails.
I would love to hear one of your poems, please.
You know, ways to make good gluten homemade pasta. Yeah, here's my secret, Tim. The gluten's where all the flavor is.
Isn't pasta all gluten?
Not the stuff that Zoe and I are making. But again, I suppose you're not curious in that. You're probably not curious about the gluten-free haiku she wrote for you last week, are you? You were too busy.
You literally talked over me asking you for a poem. That's how interested I was, but you were too on your high horse to notice.
Yeah,
Which
well,
isn't
up here on my
that
horse,
just endemic of a poor miscommunication in a relationship, eh?
gluten-free pasta.
Mm.
This stuff tastes almost like pasta, but not quite as good. There's a gluten-free haiku for you.
Very good. I loved it, man. Snaps.
No worries.
Monty.
Well, Tim, I envy you watching the movie with a person. I really do. How did Zoe enjoy it? How did you enjoy it?
Zoe actually, she was all right with it. She enjoyed it. I think at the closing credits, she even said, "No, that wasn't so bad. I think you guys are going to be okay." And I said, "I don't think you understand the project."
That's very supportive of it, though.
Very supportive.
Did it change your viewing experience? I imagine for the better.
Oh, absolutely. By factors. It was so good. I mean, from here on in, because we're in the double digits now, I'm going to be resorting to alcohol.
Oh,
to get me
I
through.
see. Also,
But,
company.
Yeah, alcohol is the people of drinks. Have you heard that before?
I've not, but it makes some sense to me.
Mm. Can I share some things that Zoe had to say about the movie? Look at her stupid bag. And I didn't even notice this, but Carrie, at the start when you're going around apartment shopping, her and Big, she's got a bag that is in the shape of the Eiffel Tower. Have you ever seen that?
I have not seen that, and I don't doubt that it's stupid. I actually look forward to looking out for it next week or next watch, whenever that is. But it does not surprise me that Carrie would be carrying around something stupid.
The Eiffel Tower itself, just with like a handle jammed in the top.
Look, before we continue, I'd like to tell you something, Tim.
I'd love to hear it, Guy.
I did something that I thought would be funny this week, and it wasn't.
Spanish. Did you watch it in Spanish?
I watched the movie Sex and the City 2.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Guy, let's get into it.
I kind of just wanted to see, with continuity, how that movie stacked up, whether or not it changed the viewing experience.
Sure.
I wanted to draw lines between the characters, the endpoints of their stories in the first film and where they're picked up in the second.
Yeah.
And I've written here in my notes, and this came not long after Dickspurt showed up.
Yeah.
I've written, this movie is fucking insane. 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 This movie is fucking insane.
I prefer your haikus, to be honest. It just didn't really take me anywhere, that one.
Well, I think it actually took you to a pretty accurate representation of what it was like watching Sex and the City 2. Tim, time has not been kind to that movie, and
in
I wouldn't
terms of what?
describe it as necessary.
Like your relationship to it or society's?
Both. But there was no it was like the movie was taunting me at one point. When that guy sings "It Feels Like the First Time" in karaoke, you'd think.
Oh yeah.
After
whenever I'm muted, by the way, I'm just coughing my lungs out. Sorry, but yes, I remember that scene.
It does not feel like the first time. It's I carry every one of my watches with me, and it didn't really give me much at all in the way of exposition. I don't have a lot to report to you from it. I mean, if anything, it just drove a further wedge in mine and Carrie's relationship. She is the most entitled person. Everything is about her. It's always wanting it her own way. There's no consideration for anyone else in the world. she makes Big look sort of like a considerate and empathetic character. And Big is also a lunatic.
In what way is he a lunatic?
I think first of all, the man has no computer in his office, as well you recall.
Yeah.
He's just scheming ideas all the time in the hopes that one of them takes seed. And he pitches straight-faced to his wife without any comprehension or understanding this might not be an incredibly well-received idea, that they spend, 2 days of every week apart so they can just do whatever the fuck they want.
Yeah. Not a great move.
I mean, within the context of the film, like, I think in broader logical terms, it's not a great move, but I was pretty empathetic towards him wanting that when I was watching the movie. Carrie does not treat, like, she's like a petulant child. Everything has to be her way, or it's not on. Is she like that in the first movie?
Sorry?
Is she like that in the first movie?
Guy, mate, you've seen it 9 times. I'll tell you, on her performance last night, she's definitely a lot more of a sympathetic character in the first movie. I don't need to tell you that, but she's far from perfect and far from my favourite. In fact, quite probably bottom of the heap of the 4 gals. 5 if you count the city.
Can you give me your current power rankings from 1 through 4?
I would love to. Samantha is occupying the penthouse, that top spot. Okay. She, I think, will be unmovable as the season goes on. She's in an unassailable position. She's a woman who knows what she wants. She's not afraid to go and get it. She loves her friends. She calls it how it is. I mean, what's not to love about this character? Larger than life, fun-loving. She loves to fuck. And both in a very literal and sort of a metaphysical sense. I'm going to put...
Actually,
Miranda,
as a quick...
Yep.
I'm very interested to hear this, but as a quick aside, I'd like to say one element of continuity between the 2 movies, I love the way that Samantha and Smith Jarrett's relationship picks right back up. Like,
yes.
That breakup looks pretty...
but it's a friendship in the second one, right?
Yeah. But so that's what I'm saying. Like, the breakup in the first movie, he takes it so well. And it's sort of like, yeah, okay. And then that leads brilliantly into their friendship in the second movie, where he's like, I'm doing this movie. It's premiering in New York. I want you to be on the red carpet with me. And it's a joy to watch. And honestly, it's nice to see a sort of, a logical progression, or at least like it feels like a tidy line between the 2 films in that respect.
And there's a lot of ways to post break up with someone, like what your relationship is after you break up with someone. I'm a, generally speaking, big believer in the clean break sort of approach. But what a wonderful adult way of treating another human being, that you part ways, you go, you know what, this relationship isn't working. We accept that we love each other, but this ain't the thing. And then you take some time out, and then eventually you can be such good pals that you go and fly to the Middle East to hang out with the other one. What a cool...
They don't quite hang out in the Middle East. He calls from the Middle East. Remember, he's shooting that movie poster, which couldn't have been done on green screen.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. You did right, yes. Man, it's amazing what I can forget. I actually just had a conversation about this. Who was I talking to? Someone. They were asking me some questions. Befittingly. It was at a party.
But
it was very recent, last week.
Talking about those.
Isn't it? And they were like asking me a couple of questions about grown-ups too. And I was like, yeah, I think... Oh, they said... fuck, do you know who I was talking to? It was Joseph Moore of Walkout Boys fame. I was having a beer with him just yesterday. And he was like, does David Spade is he one of the dads in Grown Ups 2? Does he have a son? And I was like, the fuck is his... And it took me a moment to remember that Brayden is his spawn, but he doesn't know it. So he is presented as the bachelor. But in fact, he is one of the dads.
That's right. It's a big and comical reveal. Well, I'd imagine Grown Ups 2, I think your memory of Sex and City 2, it's sort of, I would think of it as like a song, Tim, where if you tried consciously to think of the lyrics and the melody, you might be forcing your hand too hard and it won't come. But if it occurred to you naturally or it was on in the background,
I'd sing along to the chorus.
I think you'd be surprised because I was sort of finishing a few lines along with something else. Yeah, and I actually did also have I had a little egg sandwich as well. Your instincts are sound.
Man, so you were watching Sex and the City 2 by yourself?
Yeah, that's what I did this afternoon.
God, you're breaking my heart.
As it's
I don't like that.
A lean 2.5 hours. And can I say, the more I watch this movie, the faster it goes by. It is incredible how quickly 2.5 hours can go by if you've seen the source material over 55 times. Now, Tim, before I drive myself any more insane by continuing to talk about the experience, could you please tell me who's living beneath Samantha on the second highest story of this apartment building that you are
it's Charlotte.
Constructing?
I think it is Charlotte. I mean,
I think you mumbled the word Miranda before
that sentence, and I know that piqued your interest. I was talking to Zoe last night. I was saying, Guy really self-identifies as Miranda, and I'm not quite on board with it. Like, I don't fully buy him being Miranda.
And what did Zoe say?
She was a Miranda. Hey,
what did Zoe say
about you?
Yeah,
she said, "What do you think Guy is?" And I said, "I think Guy is a Samantha."
That's a very kind thing of you to say, given what we know about your relationship to Samantha at this point.
Mate, I got a lot of time for Guy Montgomery. I got a lot of time for Samantha Jones. Samantha Jones. It's a good name.
Clinic.
The Samantha Jones Fuck Clinic is where the third movie needs to go. We know that there's been a spat between Kim Cattrall and Sarah Jessica Parker, but I think the way to bait the hook with a little bit of honey to get the flies, if you follow me and fishing analogies, you plebs, then you'll know that Sarah Jessica Parker needs to have a little restraint from having Carrie so, all-consuming of the storyline, as is usual in these productions, and give a little screen time to Samantha Jones's Fuck Clinic, which is the subtitle of Sex and the City 3.
It feels to me like
gets a medical degree and starts a clinic.
There's no doubting this concept has legs, Tim. And, as through all the second movie, she is very concentrated on sort of maintaining her libido through menopause. And by the end of the film, we're all very happy to see that it's still right up there. But before we go throwing money around for an entire feature, I think I'd like to see this as a web series maybe. I think you'd have a lot of fun, just, client by client, just a little proof of concept before we go diving into
Absolutely
another 2.5 hours. I mean, I imagine that the third movie would have to be longer still. Sex and the City 3, open parenthesis, hours, close parenthesis, open parenthesis, Samantha Jones, semicolon, Fuck Clinic, close the second parenthesis.
Yeah, you've got it. We're changing cinema. You've seen 3D come and go. Fuck that. It's time for the reign of the 3-hour movies. Again, it'll be like Ben-Hur, but for fucking. And do you want to know what the tension is in the plot?
Yeah.
Big is funding it, but without telling Carrie.
It's his idea?
No, he's the funder. You know how he's a New York financier? Well, this is his latest investment. And he hasn't told Carrie because they've recently had a little bit of a falling out, which mirrors their off-screen relationship. So it's kind of got this meta-analysis of how Kim and Sarah are sort of interacting with each other. Yes?
I can also imagine a world where, because Carrie taunts Samantha for being older in Sex and the City 2. She says, women who are not our age should not say woman our age. You'll remember in the first film, of course, they toast to Samantha turning 50.
Yeah.
So I think what we're looking at here is maybe a dip in the sexual chemistry, something that Carrie is notoriously evasive in talking about, except through disgustingly dripping wet innuendo. We see a dip in their mutual sex drive. We see Big turn to Samantha, who for whatever reason has had a falling out with Carrie, as you've described. Maybe she helps remotivate him to get his fuck back on with Carrie. He says, well, that really made a difference. That's what motivates him to give her the money to fund the fuck clinic. And I love the idea of this sort of secret because on one hand, Carrie will be so happy that the spark is back in their relationship. But on the other hand, the secret, this dark cloud hangs over that rekindling of love, and that Big feels he can never reveal to her the source of the rediscovered chemistry.
It was the biggest idea of all, wasn't it? Back your friend who you've had a falling out with's fuck clinic, but it will also save your marriage. Can I say as well, because excuse me, you referenced that moment where Carrie is being very evasive about precisely how much sex her and her husband are having, or that husband to be, but she does say that Big really colours within the lines. Zoe, when that bit came on, just said, "Oh." she read that line, and I was happy to get a female perspective on it. She read that line exactly how we did. Now, I hope I'm not breaking her confidence by sharing this quote, but she said, "What, is he just like jizzing everywhere or what?"
I couldn't agree more. And do you know what also gets me is I can't remember if it's immediately after or not long after that scene when she goes home and Big is playing Enya, or I don't know, maybe Enya's Step Brothers band. He's left he looks disheveled. He's got the doors open to the balcony, and he's lit candles in there everywhere. Yeah, and she goes home and it's just like it's on.
Yeah. He passionately embraces her on the balcony and they hook up.
Which is obviously one of the moments of chemistry that they'll be thinking of when they are, trapped in their sexless marriage a few years down the line ahead of Sex in the City 3, (hours, open Samantha Jones, semicolon, fuck clinic, close, parenthesis.
So much punctuation.
But the thing of it is that really, I find that disgusting, I think, because it's so hot on the heels of her being like, he really colours within the lines. And that's like, I guess, meant to be organic sexual energy because it sort of comes out of nowhere. There's no occasion, there's no reason for them to be so horny. She gets home. He's obviously like, we're going to fuck nice tonight. And she's all in.
We're going to fuck nice tonight. I like that. That's a good pickup line.
Tragically, that line got left on the cutting room floor. And he's got candles everywhere, which is a classy touch. And then also when Miranda and Steve have their, which is such a steamy scene when they reunite, and Carrie goes, and Miranda never looked back, sort of meant to be referring to her and Steve putting the past behind them and moving on with their marriage. Yeah. But then there's a scene of them in passionate, sort of almost, there's a position I might have tried, but I'm not entirely familiar with. They were both on their knees, and he's behind her, and he's got his arm around her breasts.
I feel like it's sort of in the first third of the Kama Sutra. It's not a default position for lovemaking, but
it looks like they're really working. It looks like a good time, if I'm being completely honest.
Yeah, absolutely. It's not crazy, but it's good for camera. I thought it was a fucking great decision in terms of sexual positions to go for camera, because they're both facing, we get to see both of their faces. They're both presumably fully naked, and they're both facing the light, facing the camera. That's so from that point of view, well done.
You see both their faces, but it's quite, they both have equal amounts of hand and control in that sexual position. It's not like, if you've got Carrie saying Miranda never looked back again, well, almost never, and cut to doggy style, you're like, well, I don't know that this feels sort of
it's communicating the wrong thing, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. But they're also surrounded by candles. I don't know that
we got to get a new name for that, really, don't we?
I don't know that I've ever made love surrounded by candles.
Oh, Guy.
You mean to tell me you have?
I would like to think at least once at some point. I mean, I couldn't remember a conversation I had with Joseph Moore yesterday, moments ago. So I'm just chalking it up to I assume I have at some point.
No, if you have to think about it, it means you haven't. Unless maybe you've had so much sex with candles it sort of faded into the recesses of your mind.
I've definitely had sex with candles on and in the room. I guess my only quibble is what you mean by surrounded by.
Just like enough that if someone came in, not
3.
necessarily during, but afterwards, if you both had to go and do something and you forgot to blow out the candles, if someone came in and they were like, whoa, 3's probably not enough, but they came in and they were like, whoa, that's quite a lot of candles.
What's the line? How many candles is enough candles for this? I feel like it's a half does.
Yeah, I was thinking 8, so we'll call it 7.
Cool.
Although that would really do my head in having 7 candles. I feel like I'd want either an even number or 5 or multiples of 5.
Really?
Yeah. One thing that's really cool about me, Tim, is I'm a psycho.
Cool.
People love it.
What are the candlesticks called in the Jewish faith? That there's 7. There's 7 candles on that, I think.
Is it menorah? No.
Yeah, maybe. Fuck, we're ignorant, aren't we?
We are. It is a menorah. Yes, I got it.
Nice one,
7-lamp ancient Hebrew lampstand made of pure gold and used in the portable sanctuary set up by Moses in the wilderness and later in the temple in Jerusalem. The more you know, everybody.
Da-da-da. That's not the theme of that.
Then I fuck with candles on. You can't really have a candle on, can you? It's lit or it's off. No, it's lit or it's not lit. You can't have a candle off.
I reckon that's the on-off. Those are the on-off functions of a candle. Guy, what were your power rankings of the ladies in sex? I mean, we're not even delving into this. You've revisited a subject that we had thought we had buried, and on a whim, you've grabbed a shovel and uncovered it.
Absolutely. Look, I'm not going to lie to you. There were moments of not happiness, but just like the sheer, the gaudiness of this movie. It's
was it fun?
Like it's
fun. The movie you're looking for.
Parts of it were fun. There, like all the stuff around the big gay wedding is just utter madness. And even though I'm sure we unpacked it at the time, like everyone's collective obsession with the fact that the wedding is between 2 gay men is staggering. Like the jokes that they make, which are specific to the wedding being gay, are overwhelming. And I think that the entire reason that Stanford and Anthony got married is like it's motivated by behind the scenes reasoning, because I don't know if you remember this, but Sex and the City 2, there's a lot of speculation. Obviously, they've got a very excitable fan base who are sort of stalking out the set, and everyone wants to know the plot beforehand for whatever reason, or maybe just the diehards do. And there was a day on set when Samantha Jones was in a wedding dress.
I weirdly remember this in the news.
And like a deliberate bait and switch so that people thought that she was getting married. And then the movie plays along for as long as they're at that flash shop where they're buying the rings. Is go, in a matter of time is a funny thing. Time isn't holding up. Time isn't after us. The same as it ever was. And then they play all of Talking Heads once in a lifetime. And then they wind up inside of Bergdorf Goodman. And they say, they're all like going, I can't believe this is happening. Hell just froze over. And the implication is that Samantha Jones is getting married. Everyone's sort of giving her coy looks as though to suggest, holy shit, it's happening, everybody. Like, and everyone at home and in the cinema are going, oh my God, it's happening. And
I can see her starting a fuck clinic, but getting married?
That's right. And then they go, her best gay friend is marrying my best gay friend. And then she said, I like, just when you think everyone's finished getting married, here come the gays. And then Samantha says, it's like musical chairs. The music stopped, and they were the last 2 standing. Like none of these jokes or this plot line warrant inclusion. I genuinely feel like the motivation was the PR campaign of, like getting bums on seats by creating deliberate and cynical open speculation that Samantha Jones is getting married, and then not even hanging it over the audience for long enough for it to be worthwhile, literally burying the one interesting thread within the first 10 minutes of the movie, and then making us sit through a 7-hour wedding, which was far and away the best scene in the movie. This thing really comes out with a fucking hiss and a roar.
They front load, that's for sure.
But yeah, I mean, what do you think about that theory? Because there's no like beyond that. As soon as that big gay wedding is over, Stanford and Anthony do not feature in this film at all.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just kind of surprised at how surprised you are. This outrage feels new, it feels fresh, it feels raw to me. The emotions that you're displaying, I don't want to invalidate them at all, Guy, because you're my dude. But you've seen this movie 56 times now, I believe. So I'm just a little staggered at how you can continue to be disappointed by something that's hit you in the face so many times before. That's where old Timbo's coming from.
It's not a healthy relationship, Tim. And
Nope.
I guess it's couched in the brand new light of Stanford and Anthony, them bothering to have Stanford and Anthony kiss in the first movie.
Yeah.
Just, I understand that you need, more secondary, to fill out the world. You need these characters and whatnot, but it's all like yeah, you're right. Do you know what? As I'm talking, I'm realizing I'm getting worked up over something which I feel like it's pretty much set in stone. I think these movies they're not going to get recut.
I mean, it seems redundant to say, Guy, but this is the nature of the project, isn't it? We're only 1/6 the way in, really, or a fifth, I guess.
I would say a fifth, thanks.
Okay. Very well.
But then, yeah, so just while we're still talking about the second movie, Big, I never picked up on this sly little homophobic dig from Big, where him and Carrie are dressing each other before the wedding, and she does his bow tie or adjusts it slightly, and he says, "Don't make me look too good." And then he goes, "Gay wedding."
Yeah.
As though that old flippin' chunk of coal's going to be getting any interest. I mean, he later does, but that's beside the point.
Here's the thing. Excuse me. Hold on. I'm unmuted.
Oh, yeah, that sounds like a
Jesus Christ. I am dying.
Situation going on there.
I do apologize for that. If I've forgotten to edit that out, I do apologize profusely for what has happened in your ear holes. Look, there's a part of me, Guy, that goes... okay, let me preface this with this. Recently, I think you and I both read this article with Sarah Jessica Parker being interviewed, and she was talking about the potential of a third movie or a continuation of the TV show. And she was like, look, you couldn't do it with the people who are in it now. It would look completely daft having these 4 rich white women trying to basically be bastions of social change. Like, it just wouldn't work. And I actually, when I read it, I was like, fucking SJP knows the score. And it made me reassess a little bit. When we take these digs at the things that don't hold up in the first and even the second movie, which is slightly more recent, but there's still, they were made, 2006 and 2008 or something like that?
I feel like it was 8 and 10, but they're not new.
They're not new, and a lot of, culturally, a lot has changed since then. And I don't want to forgive a bit of sly homophobia. I deplore homophobia, but it was a slightly different time, and those gals were doing some fucking good work on the TV series for the Sisterhood. And so I just want to say...
Have you seen the TV series?
Yeah, I've seen. Yeah, of course. Yeah, I've seen. Not like all of it. I haven't watched all of it, but yeah, I caught quite a few episodes when it was, the big HBO hit.
Have you ever masturbated to the TV series?
Never in my life have I masturbated to the TV series. Have you masturbated to the TV series? Actually, I'm not sure.
I reckon I did once. Yeah. Okay. When I was sick, I used to be allowed to have a TV in the bedroom, and sometimes, just. Whoever's scheduling program on either TV 2 or 3, Sex and the City would come on. And it was a time when there was a real premium on seeing a glimpse of breast.
Yeah.
I wasn't surrounded by these pornographic images that the teenagers seem to be bloody papering the walls with nowadays. And so, yeah, sure, I might have oiled up my entire body.
Oof.
And I might have come.
It's not good when you're sick.
What is it?
Masturbating? Oiling your whole body up. I feel like you'd overheat or something.
Look, I didn't actually oil
Look, I'm
my
quite
whole
desperate
body
to get away from... this train of thought. So can I share some more thoughts that Zoe had when watching the movie?
Before you do that, I just want you to quickly, you didn't finish your power rankings. We got Samantha in the penthouse.
That's true.
Charlotte one floor
This
down.
whole episode is dedicated to me interrupting myself trying to do the power rankings. So I reckon this week we got Charlotte in the below penthouse. I don't know what that's called. Penultimate level.
Yeah, nice.
Then we've got Miranda under her. But what I was saying before when I kicked off with the word Miranda is that they are going to be swapping levels week to week, day to day. We're not even watching this week to week. It's a lot more frequent. Watch to watch, those two ladies are going to be swapping keys, passing each other in the hall, moving a lot of furniture on a constant basis, to the point where they're actually reducing their wardrobes, the number of clothes that they have, because they have to move so much and they need to get efficiency in that move. So we're going to be seeing a lot of movement with Miranda and Charlotte. And Carrie has been relegated to, if I had the ability, she would be the superintendent of this building, sleeping Harry Potter style under the stairs with the brooms and the mops.
Oh, man.
There's a problem.
I hear you.
That's
where I feel like Carrie belongs right now. She's also in my doghouse.
Yeah, she's earned it. She just has no. She just doesn't seem to help.
Do you know what?
She doesn't seem to help.
You're one of the nastiest moments, in terms of her inability to empathize with her friends, is. And to an extent, this is a bit of Samantha's own making. But Carrie makes out with Big, flips out, seeks advice from the girls who all sort of tell her to take it easy, have a moment. Samantha in particular is a huge advocate for sleeping on it for a night. And then Samantha goes on her date.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Did you say hooks up with Aiden?
Yeah, Aiden,
mean,
sorry.
right?
I might have said
Yeah, okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
I didn't know what movie you were talking about, so sweet. We're in Sex and the City too.
Yeah,
she's hooked up with her ex-boyfriend.
So Samantha goes on a date. Her and Dick Bot wind up fooling around on the beach.
Yes, boy.
And they all go down to see her. She's getting in trouble in that room. And Samantha's sort of trying to explain away by saying, we were just kissing. And this is like a pretty big and scary moment for everyone involved, really. You know, we don't know what the repercussions of this behavior are. They've sort of painted the Middle East as a place where they exist outside of cultural norms, and apart from Miranda or Professor Oak, aren't really willing to, learn or abide them. And
I forgot about the Professor Oak.
Carrie just says,
Yes.
see, kissing is something. It's illegal.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
this is not the fucking time for point scoring.
Yeah, they're in the room with the authorities right now. Samantha is looking at a Abu Dhabi prison cell. It's not the time.
It's not the time at all. And then they go and sit outside, and all she can talk about is Charlotte, who she also accused of being paranoid and projecting onto her. Like, remember that little snide remark she has on the lift on the way down? Anyway, look, I'm retreading old wood. I'm just doing this to say we've both got Carrie in the same apartment this week. I'd probably swap Charlotte and Miranda's spots, but otherwise you and I are seeing pretty much fucking eye to eye on this one. And now, if I may,
don't. Yeah.
I'd love to hear Zoe's thoughts on the film.
I was just going to say, don't censor yourself, my dude, because, the whole nature of this podcast is us talking about this movie too much. This was really cute. So we're watching the movie at nighttime and in bed, and Zoe was pretty sleepy, and she just said, I like Charlotte's joy, which I thought was very cute.
That is nice.
She also said this is a really inefficient way to pack during the montage of packing up Carrie's old apartment, which I think really speaks to my wife's practicality.
I hear
That's
that.
what I like about it.
I always think about that when Miranda tells Steve that they've got to finish their meal quickly because she's obsessed with not having time for anything. And then you just take 3 consecutive days off to go and play dress ups.
Plus the Mexico trip after that.
Yeah.
Wait, before that, sorry. So they come back from Mexico and then they do the 3-day pack out.
No.
It's insane.
They do the pack out after.
Oh, sorry. Yes. Yeah. My bad. And then this is when I stopped writing stuff down. a quote from Zoe, "It's actually a really quick movie." And then she looked at the timer, which said 45 minutes in out of 2 hours, 30 minutes. And I can understand that mentality because it actually kicks along this movie. The pacing's not bad on it. And I think you probably would have really loved a bit of the Sex and the City 1 pacing for your watch this week, Guy. If I remember anything about Sex and the City 2, she's a slow old dog.
She's a slow burn. Look, I, though, would not be so brazen as your wonderful wife to accuse Sex and the City, the first movie, of moving along at a reasonable pace or clip.
Yeah, she was mistaken, but you can understand where that feeling came from, you know?
Yeah, but you could say the same all the way up to the end of the wedding in the second movie. You're like, oh, wow, stuff's happening. Glitz.
It's the first scene, pretty much.
Yeah, but it drags. Well, no, it doesn't drag, but it goes on. Well, you've fucking done a judo move on me here. Relative to the rest of the movie, stuff's happening.
Yeah.
You've got a lot. Like Liza Minnelli's cameo is the scale and sort of spectacle of that really struck me this week. I was like, whoa, it's Liza Minnelli doing Beyonce. The idea of that existing, because previously I'd watched it, I just think of it as a gimmick for the movie. But today I thought of it as a gimmick within the wedding. And I was like, if I went to a wedding and that was like a wedding surprise that was sprung on me, I would be fucking blown away.
I've never thought about it in those terms, but you're right. If they made the kind of lead up to it a little more believable or something, if I had really entered into the world and then I'm suddenly at Stanford and Anthony's wedding, and then suddenly Liza Minnelli's there, I'd be like, holy shit, this is the best wedding that's ever happened. This is incredible.
These guys are gone and
I actually think they do themselves a disservice with the, how do you say, like the decor, the decorating of the whole thing. Because the whole thing is so fantasy, dream-like, dripping in wealth and that kind of snow white. What are those crystals called? Swarovski,
yeah, something like that.
the swans on there. Yeah, those. It's like that. It's like it's too much. It's too big. It's too shiny. It's too much. And it kind of takes you out of the reality of it. But if they'd leaned a bit more into like, maybe if it was a little more traditional wedding in a church or something, and then Liza Minnelli's there, like up with the church choir, that'd be fucking shit hot. I'd be well into that.
I can see what you're saying here. I'm wary that we're going to run out of time, Tim. So I'd just like to quickly check in on your shining light this week.
Shining light.
Shining
it was
the light.
Wrapped up like a noose. It was definitely having another person watching the film with me. But within the world of the movie, Oh, do you know who I really enjoyed? It was the waitress who comes to serve Charlotte when she's in the same cafe with Big. Not the one who seats her. He says, "You look glowing or beautiful." I think she says glowing when she asks how pregnant she is. But the one who comes to take her order after that. And I think she's been in some things. She's got a familiar face, but I liked what she did with the place.
Who was it? Sorry, can you...
So, she's there and those people get out of the way so she has a vantage point to see Big sitting there. And then Charlotte starts freaking out because she doesn't want to be in the same room with Big after she's jilted Carrie.
Yeah.
So she makes a big ruckus. So the waitress comes to take her order and she says, "Can I get you something to get started," or something to that effect. And Charlotte says, No, I can't be here. I've got to get out of here. Help me move this table. That waitress I liked this week.
Okay.
She's blonde. She's short. She's got huge eyes. She's cool. Got a good energy.
I love that.
Do you remember who I'm talking about?
Yeah. I do remember quite. I was thinking I'd like, if that was my server, I'd be happy. I always try too hard with servers, though.
Yeah.
I think because I used to.
It's where you got to make friends.
Yeah, I used to work as one, and so I think I overcompensate for being the customer and make their life hell on earth. My shining light was, it was actually really fun to see Runkle work his magic in ADR once more. You'll remember Charlotte is paranoid about Erin, the nanny. And to feed her paranoia, at one point she goes to check on, I think Rose is having a bath, and Runkle and Aaron are bathing her. And you don't see him saying it, but you hear him saying to Rose, because she's playing with stuff in the bath, he goes, "What does this do here? What is this? What is that going to do?" And then at that point, that's when he takes out the sort of shower head, which is in the bath, and it sprays all over Aaron's top. And he goes, "What's that going to do?" Whoop! And it really fucking got me going.
I paid special attention and really pricked my ears up to hear there's nothing like an illegal Cuban cigar after dinner on this watch as well. And I really enjoyed that bit of ADR from Runkle as well. Runkle's undefeatable. He is indefatigable. He is the greatest.
He's living on a rooftop garden above Samantha.
He is in a hot air balloon looking down on all of them.
I hear that.
I love Runkle. And the reason why Runkle wins is because Runkle loves life. And I think that's an important lesson for all of us.
What a beautiful note to end on. Tim, it has been hell on earth the last 3 hours of my life, but I couldn't imagine anyone I'd rather spend it with than you via Remote Connect.
Hey, let's do it all again in, I'm estimating, 36 hours or so.
Sounds bad to me.
Bye.
We just have a good rhythm together, you know. He sort of feels me out, I feel him out, and we go for it.